Fiskars009 and I'm here to make a quick little tutorial kind of specifically for you, Fiskateer Stephanie Meadows, because you said you were having a little trouble with your everywhere punch the other day. I love it. I have demoed it to, gosh, thousands and thousands of people since it came out this summer. You can go to Fiskars.com and see a professional tutorial, but I'm going to give you the real world at home regular old crafter one. So I don't know all the technical terms, I don't, but I like it and I think I can show you how to use it really quickly. And if you're wondering about my fabulous hairstyle, this is a little trick I learned from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you don't want to do your hair, wear a wig. So let's get started. I have a few things to show you, so I'm going to have you look down at my crafting table. Okay, so let's get started. Steph, I know you already know some of the beginning parts that I would talk about in a demo because you already have the tool, but just in case you're watching this video and you don't have all the tools, let me show you that the Everywhere Punch comes as a starter set. You get the square first, and you need the starter set because you want to make sure that you have the base and you have the clear alignment grid that goes on top of the base, because the next shapes you buy, you only need to buy the die and the top of the die. So you don't have to keep buying this base and clear alignment grid over and over and over again, which is cool. It saves you a little bit of money and it saves you a lot of space in your bag that you don't have to keep having a bigger base every time you buy a new shape. So Stephanie asked me specifically about the scalloped punch, so let me show you a couple tips. Here's my starter kit, here's the base, and I have my clear alignment grid, but I had to buy the scallop circle separately, and to put this in the base, I just line up. There's a little arrow you probably can't see here, but what you need to look at is kind of think of this base as a triangle. So you can see the triangle here. These 2 points are a little bit closer together than this point. You don't really have to know that, but I've noticed it as I've done demos. It helps me because when I put my paper, so I've got my scallop circle here, so when I put my paper on top, I don't really care where I put my clear alignment grid. As long as these magnetic points match up with these magnetic points, so the two smaller are together, the large one is at the top, that's going to really lock in my clear alignment grid. Look how cool this is. So here's the base. All I'm doing is holding on with it. I can hold on with it with 2 fingers, and the clear alignment base stays, or grid stays on because it's magnetized. And now I can move my everywhere punch, well, everywhere. So if I was crazy organized, or let's say I'm like super specific and I wanted to have my scallop circle dead center in the middle of this page, I could draw really light pencil guidelines and use the guidelines on this clear alignment grid, because there are some that will get you dead center. There's some that'll help you stack your circles. I don't know if you could see this, but the curves on the clear alignment grid line up with circles and scallop circles. The straight lines line up with squares and scallop squares. So we can get really specific without having to do any math or measurement, just by drawing some guidelines. But you all know I'm not that specific, so just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to eyeball it, move it around again just to show you how easy that is. So let's say I want it right here, somewhere where I couldn't normally get with my squeeze punches. And I'm going to use the heel of my hand, and I'm going to punch, and then peek in there. That first punch, all it did was put these rods into the base at the bottom, or the die at the bottom, so that my paper didn't shift around. So that first punch you hear, you have not cut yet, and that's the first thing to know when you're doing or using the everywhere punch. So you want to make sure you hear a punch, and then you want to hear a crunch. You hear that? It was a lot louder, it was very crunchy, and once I do that, check this out. Ta-da! Now I have a really cute little scallop circle in the middle, and I can add something behind there. So maybe another piece of pattern paper that I like, or maybe it's a photo that I wanted to highlight in the middle of my page. Whatever you want to do with your everywhere punch. Would make a cute card with money inside for a kid. Whatever you want to do, it's super easy to use. The first time though, the punch is the hardest. You have to remember, hear that punch because you're creating these holes, and hear that crunch. Right? So I know the other thing you're going to ask me, you're going to say, Angela, I am a really frugal crafter. I thought that you were too. What's up with the holes in that shape that you punch out? Well, first of all, you have to know the everywhere punch was made to be a window. So this part, the engineers never thought that you would want to use that. We told them that crafters do want to use stuff like that. So I have seen people do all kinds of fun stuff. So I grabbed some tool here. Let's say that I am super crafty today, and I don't want to get rid of the holes on there. So what I can do let's just make a little extra embellishment with it. And if those holes still bother you, I don't know, maybe you have some big flour here that you can use, or even better, you can have punched one out with one of your everywhere squeeze punches that give you the shape. But I happen to have flour sitting right here, so check this out. Ta-da! So I have a cute little flower on top of a pretty little scallop shape. So even the most frugal scrapper can enjoy the everywhere punch, because you can use something with that throwaway piece that comes from your window, and then you have that fun window for your project. And that's it. Easy peasy. Okay, so I have another tip for you. If you've never used the everywhere punch and you watch someone use it, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm not strong enough to use that, or maybe you have arthritis, or maybe you've had trouble with punches in the past from other companies. You don't have to be strong. Look at me, nothing, got nothing. But it helps to take advantage of your height a little bit. So I'm tall, it's easy for me to use the everywhere punch, because when I stand up at my craft table is below my waist. And that's going to help me with the everywhere punch. So if you're not as tall as I am, then you might want to make sure that you find a counter space that is a little bit lower than your waist, and that's going to help you because you want to take advantage of the force of your height, or some kind of physics thing. I feel like Bill Nye. That's helpful. So also having a sturdy table is helpful. If you have one of those plastic tables, I use those a lot when my friends come over crafting, they have a lot of give, so when you're pushing into them, they keep going and they're not really pushing back at you to make a nice cut. So that's helpful to know too. Plastic tables will work, I've used them for demos, but come to the edge where there's a lot more structure to those tables. Don't try to punch in the middle of your table, because you'll just be pushing that table down when you're punching. So I've got a nice sturdy table here. I'm going to move this die close to me, because that's going to help push my height into it, right? Not my strength, but my height. So watch this. I'm going to put my paper here, and I'm using basil cardstock here. That's about as heavy as you want to go. If you're using a lighter weight than basil, oh my gosh, it's even easier. But basil works fine. I use basil for almost all my demos. So that's what you got to do. Keep that everywhere punch lower than your body, so stand up if you have to. Get a nice sturdy table, and then you're just going to lean into it. I'm not using my muscles, I'm using my height. Ta-da! That's it. And I punched it. So give it a try, Steph. Tell me if any of these tips helped you out. If you need any help on any of the other tools, let me know, because I'm going to keep my wig handy in my craft room, and that makes me work a little bit faster because I don't have to go do my hair. So see you later. Oh, I've got to go read my books for the book review. Bye.